Today, we venture to the Balkans, to a land named Albania. And you're probably wondering, Albania? But didn't you already make a video on Albania? Yeah, you'd be right. But I didn't make a video on one of the craziest failed government-led coups in history. Because this is Operation Valuable. Now, right after World War II, Albania wasn't in the best position in the world. Now, the Allies didn't really recognize Albania's previous leader, King Zog I, or even the Republican government in exile, until the United Nations Relief and Rehabilitation Administration reported about 30,000 Albanian dead from the war, 200 destroyed villages, 18,000 destroyed houses, and about 100,000 people made homeless. Now, in 1946, on January 10th, the communist state of Albania was created, with Enver Hoxha as their leader. Now, the West saw this as a provocation because Albania was friends with the USSR and even China. By about September of 1946, NATO had met in Washington with the Foreign Secretary of the UK, Ernest Bevin, proposing that a, quote, counter-revolution be launched inside of Albania. The US were on board with this idea of a covert operation be held inside the Balkans, after which Italy and Greece joined, saying that they supported an overthrowing of the Hoxha regime. The original plan was to use parachute drops of loyalists into the Mati region of Albania, as the place was known to be a stronghold of Albanian traditionalism, the praising of their, and even more so, loyalty to King Zog I. This small revolt was being hoped to spill over into a civil war, and that this trouble would snowball into more protests in other countries. They were dropped off on Mati throughout 1947. They weren't able to inspire the people living there to raise arms. The project continued up until 1949, where they tried doing sabotage attempts on the Kochova oil fields and the copper mines in Rubik, but no real success in raising a revolt. Then the US stepped in and decided to lend a hand. In September of 1949, Ernest Bevin, the guy from before, went back to Washington to discuss Operation Valuable with the US government. The CIA released a report that concluded that, quote, a purely internal Albanian uprising at this time is not indicated, and if undertaken, would have little chances of success. So basically, the US government gave Ernest a fat middle finger and told him to fuck off. By 1950, the US and UK governments had had enough of Albania and decided to just outright ambush the Albanian coastline with C-47 aircraft, a few groups of MI6 agents, where the MI6 agents were swiftly clashed and overwhelmed by the Albanian secret police. Which, there's a great video on the Sigurimi by Professor Brostein. I'm gonna just throw the video right up here just so you guys can have it. Most of the operations failed, with Albanian security forces interdicting most of the insurgents. Occasionally, the Albanian authorities... Wow, bro! The Albanian authorities would report on large but unsuccessful infiltrations of enemies of the state. All in all, Albania suffered no losses, and the operation was a complete and utter failure, leaving 300 MI6 and CIA agents dead. So that's a wrap. I'm thinking of making more content like this. If you guys enjoy this type of stuff, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, do everything, bro. Do everything. Alright, catch y'all in the next one. Bye.